Welcome back to the shop. This week I'm going to be working more on finishing up this integral bolster hunting knife. I'm in the last stages of this project, so it's going to be a lot of fine-tuning, a lot of slow, boring processes. So to spice things up, I'm also going to be working on restoring and repairing this damaged chisel. I've got the handle mostly fit to the bolster, but there is a little bit of gappage in there that I want to eliminate before I start gluing this on. So what I'm going to have to do is take this over to the belt grinder and cut out the shape of the handle before I start working on the connection, because I want to remove as little material as possible, and getting this out of the way is going to help me drastically. And while I'm there, I'm going to address something else as well. The blade is actually sitting a little bit crooked in there, which you can see from this angle. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off these corners as well to re-square this up. Now, as far as this chisel goes, there's a few issues with it. The first and most obviously being this blade, which someone probably tried to use as a screwdriver, but it didn't really work. In addition to that, there's also some corrosion on here, which I'll take off with some light sanding. That shouldn't be too much of a problem. But then there's also the issue of this handle, which is cracked right here, and it actually rotates on the chisel. So that's not good. I'm going to go ahead and take this plastic handle off and replace it with a nice, beautiful wooden handle. Now, if I clamp this up in the vise between a few pieces of wood, that'll give me the grip I need on the blade to focus on the handle here. I'm going to see if I can just twist it off by hand. Go. So this is the chisel without the handle. It's a tang chisel, but this tang is actually rounded, which is another problem in and of itself, because that allows it to rotate on the handle like you saw. So I'm going to take this to the grinder and square up this tang, and also address the chipping on the edge. Now, as I grind this, I'm going to have to be careful to keep this edge really cool, because when you heat steel up, and the grinder has a lot of friction, so it heats steel up pretty quickly, it can lose its temper. So if it goes over 400 degrees, the hardness in this blade will actually be removed by that excess heat. So I'm going to make sure to cool this frequently by dipping it in some water so it doesn't get too hot. Now, as I try to fit this up, I'm going to be addressing the areas that are contacting on the bolster, removing those so that the bolster can get a closer fit up with the areas it's not contacting. Just doing a little bit at a time, checking often. Okay, so I need to take off some more on this side over here. I'm still getting a little bit of contact on this side and less on this side. I'm going to go ahead and take a larger, more aggressive file to this and see if I can straighten that out. Okay, we're getting a little bit of progress there. Still more to go. These are the times in knife making when you have to be just really patient and meticulous and pay attention to detail. Because the difference between a good knife and a bad knife is about 10 hours of work. And so the more time that I put into this now, the higher quality will be reflected in the end. That's one of the things that I love about knife making, is that you really get out of it what you put into it. If you rush through and you don't really take your time and you're not careful, you'll have a sloppy product. But if you take the time, do it right, and pay attention, you end up with something really beautiful. Alright, that's pretty close. It's about straight now. There's still some gappage. So what I'm going to do is come in with that little file again and scoop out these corners in here so that the bolster can sit nice and flat on it. And so with the handle profile roughed in and the chisel finished, that's where I'm going to go ahead and call it for this week. And next week, I will get this knife completely finished up.